Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth and this is The Joyful Sojourn, a community of people that love stationery and planning and doing things creatively on paper. And if that sounds like your kind of community, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Today's video is my most anticipated video for the Planner Lookbook series, and that is taking a look at some dated planners for Hemlock and Oak. I've already had one video for them in my lookbook series that was Undated planners. This one I've been waiting to film until the weekly and daily arrived on my doorstep, and it is here. I know several of you kept popping into my DMs over on Instagram, like, are you doing the weekly daily? Are you doing the weekly daily? The answer to that is yes. I did purchase it. So I'm just in the shopping queue, just like everybody else. So with the planners today, two of them were purchased by me. Two of them were gifted by Hemlock and Oak, and I just had to wait for them to arrive. So I have an undated weekly daily, a dated weekly daily, and then I have two B5 minimalist dated planners that I'm very excited about. I know that at least one of these is going to be in my lineup for 2026. This one might make its way into my heart though. I'm very excited. So we're going to get into the weeds with these guys. And again, this is part of my planner lookbook series. If you're new here, I have been reviewing planners all fall leading up to 2026 with the hope that I can be your eyes and your hands on product that often is not available in a brick and mortar. It's online. And so I either requested samples from these companies or I purchased them myself so that I could present them to you and hopefully save you money and help you make some decisions. So Hemlock and Oak is today, and I am an affiliate for Hemlock and Oak. So if you decide to pick anything up from Hemlock and Oak, forever and always, you can use the code JOYFUL10. That's going to save you 10% off of your purchase. And my affiliate link is in the description box. You can bookmark that. And anytime you shop with them, if you use that bookmarked affiliate link, I would get commission off of your purchase, which of course allows me to continue doing, as someone said in my DMs the other day, the Lord's work in bringing you product reviews. So thank you for shopping with my affiliate link. Where do we even begin? I think we need to start with, let me get the B5 Minimalist out of the way first, and then we're going to spend more time with the weekly and daily. So I'm going to move the weekly daily out of the way, and maybe if y'all want timestamps, maybe I should put timestamps in the description box. But let's start with the weekly, or excuse me, the B5 Minimalist. So let me tell you why I have two here. I actually purchased the Cloth Flex in the B5 Minimalist. This color is called Riviere. And it is a beautiful, beautiful cloth material. It's got a little bit of like a texture to it, but it is a completely lay flat planner, and it's a vertical. So the Minimalist, whether it's an A5 or a B5, the Minimalist will be a vertical layout for now. Who knows? Maybe the Minimalist will come in a horizontal at some point. But what makes the Minimalist stand out from the other planners that they offer is it does not have the goal setting pages at the front of the planner. So I'm going to flip through the paper flex, and so you can see what the vertical layout looks like. You can see what the Minimalist looks like. Check out, well, actually the weekly plus daily will probably have the goal setting pages at the beginning. So we'll be able to see what those look like. You can also go watch my Undated Hemlock and Oak video from the playlist down in the description box. I'll leave it linked separately, actually. So you can see what the Undated planners look like. And again, you can see what the goal setting pages look like. So I got a lot of questions after the Undated video about material and like how to know if you should get the hardbound, the Cloth Flex, or the paper flex. And let me grab a hardbound. This is my horizontal for 2025. The tabs I have on here are nice, thick plastic tabs. These are from Stylish and Minimal Co. I always get questions about these tabs. But again, Stylish and Minimal Co. are where these tabs are from. I get them in the Hobonichi Cousin size, and they are a perfect fit. So they come in three different types of cover materials. The hard bound, which is going to be nice and durable. This was where I started with Hemlock and Oak. I really like the book feel. It just is lovely. So this is your book bound. Then we have our Cloth Flex. The Cloth Flex I have opinions here. I think I would pick the cloth and paper based on the layout and the size of planner I'm using, because I realized I think I prefer the paper flex, but then when I touched the 70 GSM cloth flex, I prefer it in the cloth. So we'll go through, like, if I were to go between these two, just from experience of, like, I don't know. The cloth flex cover is thinner than the paper flex. So if you want something that's a little more lightweight and bendy, the cloth flex has a little bit more, I mean, you can kind of see it here, has a little bit more like give to it. The other thing to consider when choosing a cover is whether or not you want to put stickers on it. The cloth flex is not really, it's not completely smooth. So if you want to like decorate this and put stickers on it, you probably have to put down some like Mod Podge, then the sticker, and then Mod Podge on top of it. And the cloth flex is so beautiful. The texture of it is so beautiful. I wouldn't cover this with stickers. So if you know that you want to sticker the front of your planner, I would not get the cloth flex. I would just automatically jump to the paper flex. The cool thing about the paper flex is this whole section of it, regardless of whether or not you get the minimalist or you get just the vertical or the horizontal or the weekly daily, it's going to be paper. Most of it is paper, but then you do have like some of that textural change here where it does kind of feel like cloth on it. So I would, if you're going to sticker your planner, get this one, and you've got all this like premium real estate. The reason I purchased this one is I thought this was the one I wanted to use. And then I was thinking about how it would be really fun to customize a paper flex. And so that's when I reached out to them and I said, do you have an oopsie in the paper flex? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be an oopsie, like second tier, because I think I want to test out, and I'll probably film this in an Instagram reel or something, but I want to collage the front with the Mod Podge. And so this is the one that I think I'm going to play with, but I don't know. This one is gorgeous. So I'm going to flip through this one first so you can get a sense for what it looks like. And this is in the B5 size, but if you look at the smaller minimalist, it is an A5 size. So you can get an A5 or a B5 in the minimalist if you don't want the goal setting pages at the beginning. When you look at the smaller vertical and horizontal planners that aren't the B5, they are not an A5. I know that sounds confusing. Only the minimalist A5 is actually an A5. The smaller planners with the goal setting pages at the beginning are larger. They are 6.35 by 8.5, which is a little bit larger than an A5 size. So if you're looking for an A5, you'd go with the minimalist. Like a true A5, you go with the minimalist. Okay, so we're going to open this up. I love this white space because I'm going to decorate this anyway. So I love we have some open deco space. We have our name page. Then we have our index of what is in your planner, and all of the pages are numbered. They're all numbered, and this is going to tell you where exactly you need to jump to. Then we have our year at a glance. I love this in the B5 size. I started last year with the A5, or excuse me, the horizontal in the smaller size, and I loved it, but I kind of like the real estate of a B5. Which is funny because I will also have a B6 planner in my lineup for an on the go. But for my kind of desktop, I like the B5 size. I think it's really nice. So we have our 2 years at a glance Monday start calendars. Very clean text here. They give us 6 week, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 week monthlies, which I've always been a fan of with Hemlock and Oak. Then we have our kind of year at a glance, like future planning. I have a picture up on my Instagram account of how I set this up for 2025, and it kind of went viral. Very minimalist, but I just actually color coded. I used a highlighter to highlight specific dates. And then with the graph grid that's going along, it's like perfectly lined up rows with the dates. I put the events going on on the corresponding line of the week. And I also used Scotch Paper Co. small holidays, and I put those down here as well. So this was really my calendar for the year, my year at a glance of Esther's daycare schedule, when I had like mom's meetups, holidays, birthdays, etc., is what I have stored on there. And that's what I'm going to use this layout for again in 2026. So this is the horizontal view of 2026. Then we get into the quarterly pages. This is a vertical view. Big fan of the vertical view. This is great really for tracking or just wanting to see something more detailed within a quarterly perspective. So again, this view I did for events, holidays, school closures, etc., birthdays. And then this is really good for, like I was thinking for this year, I want to log like when I get my nails done every month, just so I can see what cycle. So things that are happening on a monthly schedule, kind of related to wellness and self-care, I want to log here. So that would include my period. That would include maybe just health related stuff like if I have a migraine. So anything about me, I'm putting here. This is about the life of my family. This is about me tracking the things happening in my life. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to use this layout for. And then notice that you've got tons of space down here at the bottom. So you can tally things up here if you want. You have open boxes up at the top if you want to add maybe different things that you want to track. Like you could put little icon, like micro icons along the top, and then you could track multiple things going down vertically, or you could do that from the bottom. You could do just deco along the bottom too. I don't know. I'm leaning towards deco along these bottom pages. This is so big in the B5 that I really want to play in this one. And the Hemlock and Oak paper, it's a 120 GSM, and it is lovely. All of their stuff is very eco-friendly. Their paper is made in a, how do they say it? An FSC certified Canadian mill. That includes the new 70 GSM paper. And there's no paper like it. There's no paper like your standard Hemlock and Oak paper. It's not too thick, not too thin, not too smooth, not too toothy. And that's why every year I have a Hemlock and Oak planner in my lineup, because it's just so good. So lots of options here, lots of real estate to play in the B5 size, which I'm excited for. This page has our holidays at a glance. So we've got Canadian holidays because they are a Canadian-based company, and we have the US holidays, and we have an open grid space here for whatever you want. Last year, I actually covered this up, I think with my like vision board, and then, or maybe the vision board was on this side. In any case, I kind of just took over these two pages for like word of the year and vision board type things. Then we get into our overview pages before we get into our month. So this is a dispersed type layout where you're going to have everything spread out if it's dated. So you'll have your January overview, boundaries you'll set for yourself this month, 3 ways you can carve out time for self-care, intentions for the month, milestones you're focusing on, what habit you want to cultivate and what the barriers are. You have a habit tracker for the month here as well, and then frequency. So you have an overview page of the month, and then you have a beautiful decorative page or blank page here that you can structure however you want. This could be a currently page. This could be a memory keeping page. This could be like really important things you need to get done for the month. Like this is primo real estate for monthly brain dumping or creative play. Then we get into your monthly layout. Love this guy. I'm a big Sunday start monthly person and Monday start weekly. That we don't have here. It's all Monday start, but I can forgive it because the planner is so fabulous. So we have a Monday start planner. You don't get to choose. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 6-week monthlies. I love this because that means whenever, I think it's in March where we have like 5 full weeks in March. We don't have to split one of the blocks. They're not sharing 2 days in one block. You have plenty of room here. And then you have a full week, depending on the month, full extra week into the next month. And I can I can decorate this and still have so much room for planning everywhere else. I love the grid spacing for them. It's a 4.2 millimeter spacing, which is a little bit larger than like your Sterling ink grid spacing. This whole column here is checklists, but it's really minimalist. So if you didn't need this much to-do space, you could decorate this as well. You could add a quote or whatever, but you do have these functional boxes along the, going all the way down from top to bottom. Now I can't remember, last year, did we have, what am I looking for? Did we have a monthly calendar? No, we didn't. So I was thinking we lost a monthly overview, but we didn't. They're not here. So other things to note about the monthly layout is we do have holidays down at the bottom. And then we do have moon phases. I could do without the moon phases and the holidays. For sure. I have said this with every planner review. I would rather have this be blank. And so I wonder if they'd ever do like a survey for feedback. And if enough people said, they're like, I don't need the moon phases, or the holidays and observances at the front are enough, I wonder if they'd ever kind of consider removing them. But they do it in a very minimalist style. The only peak of color that we have here is this like sepia or like sienna kind of color for the moon shape itself, but everything else is it's kind of a muted black. And because the lines and the dates are true black, these do hide pretty well. Like I think you can ignore them if you want to, and they are lower right justified, so they kind of, tuck away into the corner. So here is our monthly. Very excited about this. And I also love that there's graph grid in the monthly instead of it just being a blank. As I was going through planners and thinking about what I'd want for 2026 in a larger planner, and I was considering for a vertical, the Laurel Denise Christie, which I've been using. This one has more structure to it. It has the graph grid, which I think looks beautiful when it's decorated and makes me write way more straight having graph grid on the inside. So I prefer this monthly to that other kind of B5 sized vertical planner because of the graph grid. It's not just an open white box. So that is that guy. And then here is our weekly layout. And I love having an hourly time blocking schedule planner in my lineup. This might not be a planner that I need every single week, but trust, I have periods of time, maybe every other week, where I really need hourly time blocking, or I just want to audit my time. And this is perfect for me. So this absolutely will be in my lineup for 2026. It's got half-hour increments. It starts as early as 5:30. It stops at 10, but you could keep going if you want to. This whole space down here is graph grid. There's no lines. They did away with the little heart icon that used to be at the bottom of every column. That is gone now. So there's no additional structure from what you like that you don't need. Yeah. I think I said that right. There's no extra icons or anything. This is all just naked. You also have down at the bottom the week number. So this is week 1. And on the lower right, we have the date range for the week. So it says December 29th through January 4th. And of course, our page numbers 18 and 19. So hourly time blocking, tons of space down at the bottom for to-do list. So if you wanted to do your hourly time blocking, you could. Then you could draw a line and have your to-do list down at the bottom. If you don't need hourly time blocking one week, you could totally just ignore it and just section this off by morning, afternoon, and evening, or today, to-dos, and your family schedule. You have room up at the top with some blank boxes that you could decorate. Like I'm going to be doing decorative dating for sure, but maybe any priority or important things happening this day, or maybe I'll put Esther's schedule up at the top here, or appointments, like things that are specific to this day. Maybe I'll do call outs or deadlines or something like that. So I've got nice space up here to kind of grab my eye at the top of the page. We have our checklist boxes that stop at the 10 p.m. mark, which I really like. So if I wanted to go all the way across with my brain dumping or my notes or my creative play, I'm not going to have to cut off checklists that go all the way to the bottom. They all stop here. It's a nice line. This is what I was looking for in that monthly layout. You don't have it in your monthly layout because you're looking at your monthly layout. So Avi, Elizabeth, I don't know what I was thinking, but this is what I was thinking about having the visual of this. You do have a monthly overview every week, and they've highlighted in that kind of sienna, burnt sienna, or Sierra. Is it sienna? Sepia, sienna. You know what I mean? It's like a brownie, mustardy color. So you've got a Monday start monthly, and then you've got it highlighted or circled what week you are currently in. So that is the vertical. This vertical layout is going to be true whether you get the A5 minimalist, whether you get the just traditional size, or you get the B5 size. This is their vertical layout. And I didn't mention this at the beginning, but the other cool thing about Hemlock and Oak is they provide printables for free on their website. So if you wanted to see what this would look like and plan in it for a week, you could print out the printable and see how you like the layout. So they have PDF versions of all of their, I think all of their planners, if not at least the vertical and the horizontal, so you can get a sense for what it might look like and feel like for you. So we'll flip through a full month. I'm so glad I'm filming this video. Oh, let me also, here's your moon phases. So the moon phases and holidays will transfer over to your weeklies, but they're up above your dates. So we've got a full moon there, and then holiday up here, MLK Junior Day, again, above the date. So very minimalist on the weekly spread. I appreciate that because all of this is just open for whatever I want. So let's get through here. And like I was saying, I'm so glad I'm filming this video because I really want to move into this and get this set up as far away from January as possible because I know I'm committed to starting the year in this planner. At the end of every month, you have a review. So you have your overview before your monthly, and then at the end of the month, you have your review page. So we have 3 memorable moments this month, what gave you energy, and there's a little plus sign, what drained you, a little negative sign, and then a lesson, thought, or growth moment from this month. And then you have an open graph grid page here, and they label this month 1, so January review, month 1, and then this is labeled January review. So this would be a really good space if you wanted to do like by the numbers, or you wanted to print some photos out from your Canon Ivy, like top photos from the month. You could do a little bit of creative play here. And this paper does stand up well to stamping as well. So you can definitely play around a bit. Okay, so then once we get through our monthly wrap up, our review, we jump into the next month's overview. So February overview, our February monthly, and then our weeklies. So, and then you just want to train the pages as you go. So as you're flipping through, it is a lay flat design. It's just going to take some, work as you're getting through it, pushing it through. So those are your calendar pages. It is dispersed, so your monthly and your weekly are all together, as are your review pages. Now we get to the end of the year. We have our December review blank page, and then we have year-end review pages. So here's our year-end review. 3 memories from the last 12 months you want to cherish. Who or what are you grateful for in the last year and why? We have 4 spots. We have what are you proud of this year? Write down 5 positive things about yourself from the last year. What vision do you see for yourself in the future? And what are some ways you can get yourself closer to that vision? And then we have graph grid blank pages. These are excellent for collections. So if you want to set up a movie tracking page, a TV tracking page, a book reading journal or page, you can do that back here. So this starts on 194 and all the pages are numbered. I'm not going to do the math. Oh, I forgot I did swatching on this already for you guys. All the way back to 224. So what is that? 40, 90, no, 30 pages. Sorry. 30 pages of graph grid in the back. I did do some swatching early. I forgot. As soon as this arrived, I was like, I need to play. But I tested out the Unipin in the size 2, a Tombow, Funonosuke, the Zebra Blend, Mild Liner, Sharpie S-Gel, Pilot Friction, the Zig dot pens, a Muji, a Caliograph in the Barely Gray, Unipin oil pen, these always bleed, a Calm .07, this is a ballpoint, a Le Pen, Sarasa Mark-On, a Tool, another mark-on, Erin Condren dual tip pen, Papermate Flare, and then I did try 3 different inks here: the Versa Magic chalk ink, the Versa Fine pigment ink, and the Legacy ink, which is from Archer and Olive. So here is my just quick swatches, and we're going to turn the page here, and you can see not a single bleed. The Unipin oil wants to, let's see if I can focus. It wants to, and maybe it did. No, I mean, it did not bleed through, but it's very heavily ghosted. This is still excellent performance for an oil-based pen. So I wouldn't use it really in any planner, but if I were to use it in a planner, this was probably the safest bet. But for the ink swatches, here you can see this is the chalk ink. The chalk ink will always perform the best. It's very like powdery and like muted. This is the VersaFine, which is this guy, the VersaFine. And then this is the Archer and Olive Legacy ink in black. You can see beautiful performance. Chalk ink, VersaFine, Legacy ink. And I would say the camera is making it look more ghosty than it is. But our dot pens did very well. And you can just see it's going to stand up. The paper's going to stand up. So, are we zooming in? There we go. So that is the B5 Minimalist. And again, if you're trying to decide when it comes to covers, which to pick, obviously the hardbound is just a different experience. Do you want a hard one? You know, I feel like you either do or you don't. But when it comes to the softbound, do you want to put stickers on it? If the answer is yes, get the paper. Do you want something that is a little more flexy, go, and more luxurious feeling? Go with the Cloth Flex. This one, again, the cover is a little bit stiffer and thicker than the Cloth Flex, so it's not as like bendy, whereas this, like, it gives me Bible vibes almost. We're in that kind of soft bendiness, which I love. So it just is going to come down to personal preference. So that is we're going to get to the weekly and daily, but that is my kind of overview of the B5 Minimalist dated planner. These are exactly the same. The cover types are just different. So, and this one I think is the one we're going to start 2026 with, replacing the horizontal that I used last year. Now let's jump over to the weekly plus daily, which everybody has been waiting for. And I have opinions. So just starting with the exterior, when it comes to the decorating the cover and stuff, I'm all about the paper on this one. However, this paper inside the planner is 120 GSM. And I like the weight of this paper with the thickness of this cover. But when we move over, I was not expecting this. When I pulled these out, I have not flipped through these yet, by the way. I did take them out of the packaging. But when I picked these up, you can tell the paper is thinner. I much preferred, you guys, the feel of the 70 GSM in the Cloth Flex over the Paper Flex. I think because the paper is thinner and wants to be more fluid and like lay flat. And I think because of that, I like the thinner cover and that it's almost like liquid, the way it just like allows it to move. Whereas you don't get quite as much of like, I mean, it moves just fine, but there's a little bit more of a tension because the cover on the Paper Flex is a little bit thicker. But some of you might like the feel of a sturdier cover. And so if you don't want the hardbound, but you want it to feel a little stiffer, then go with the paper. But something about the 70 GSM, I mean, can you see just how like flex this is? This is beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful planners, at least on the outside, we haven't looked at the inside yet, that I have ever seen. And I love it. Let's talk about colors. So these are, again, we have an undated and we have a dated. The dated color is in moss. Is that right? Yeah, this is moss. And this is called fawn. So moss and fawn. Now, I have to flip through both of these because one is undated and one is dated. We're going to look at the dated version first, and we won't do too much of a deep dive because we've already seen many of the layout pages, which are going to be exactly the same. Actually, let's flip through. Let's do a proper flip. No, let's do the, sorry, decisions. I think we got to start with the dated just to be traditional here. So paper, again, we have our gold foiling on the front, says Hemlock and Oak 2026 weekly daily. And then you have Hemlock and Oak on the back. Are you ready for this? So 70 GSM versus the 120 GSM. And this paper type is brand new for them. So this is like their pilot, and they're going to take feedback over the course of this next year, how it performed, etc. And, you know, if they need to make tweaks, they will. But I will say that Tia and team did a really good job sampling and trying like tons of pen tests on their paper. And so I love the work that they've done. I hope that this is the paper that they land on, that it's good and people love it. So they don't have to do much more work, but just keep that in mind that this is a brand new paper for them. So 70 GSM, and we're going to do a little comparison here because the color right off the bat is going to be a little bit warmer. So if you are used to the Hemlock and Oak paper, we'll do a little comparison here. This is their white, and it is a very true white. This is their white on the 70 GSM weekly plus daily. It is not cream. It's not yellow. It's not even ivory. It's just a warm white. So let me kind of try to lift this up. You can tell that it is a little bit warmer than the original Hemlock and Oak paper, but it is not giving gross vibes. Like, it's not overly like, wow, that's a cream color paper. It really, I'm not even sure if I wasn't doing a comparison, not sure how much I would have noticed that it's different, but yeah, it is different. It is a little bit more of a white color. The other thing that's different as we get into these pages, so this one is going to have our goal setting pages at the beginning that the minimalist planners do not have. The other thing that's different is when you see the different title pages in the goal setting pages section, they are solid white versus, let me go to, if you're looking at one of the traditional planners, they used, you'll see like color. So this is setting goals. Actually, let me see if there's, give you another example here. Here we go. So here is the first page of the, is this the first page? I did some modifying of this, but they used color here, and there's no color on these title pages within the goals section. So just wanted to point out that difference. Okay, so here we have a breakdown of what's inside. They've broken it down by, I guess, category. So the journaling category is going to be your kind of goal setting pages. This whole section, this journaling section, is what doesn't exist in the minimalist. So some people want these intro value identification goal setting pages at the beginning of every year. If you are not that person, get the minimalist and it'll free up some space. I'm pretty sure if you get a minimalist, you get more pages at the end, like blank pages at the end of the planner. So it's just personal preference. If you want to kind of go through a guided reflection for the year, you have that at the beginning of your weekly plus daily. So there are our pages. This has an overview of how these initial journaling and goal setting pages work. I've already done a review of these pages in the undated version, so make sure you go back and check that out. But I do want to point out here that the font type is a little bit different. It's a little bit more collapsed. Again, I don't want to like share my personal stuff. This is kind of tricky here because I would love to show you the font change. Here we go. I actually didn't set up the goal setting pages in this one, but here you can see the difference in font choice. See how it's a little bit more smooshed versus this one. So the font is different in the weekly plus daily. All right, so here is our self-reflection. So basically you're reflecting on yourself. the things that bring you joy, the things that drain you, and you spend a few times doing self-reflection and identifying things that will help set the tone for your goals. And they do it by self-reflecting, by identifying your values, and then based on identifying your values and your previous year's reflections, you set your goals. And so this kind of takes you through the step, and they're really good about explaining what that process looks like, and they tell you how to fill out these pages, which is super nice. So here is our goal setting pages. And then based on the goals that you have set, you create habits for them. So see how they kind of start at the big picture, and then they break it down smaller and smaller and smaller till we get to our habits. And once we get to our habits, and you have multiple spaces here for habits. So we have, I'll just read through the categories here, but we have what habit do you want to cultivate and what action will cue the habits. Track your journey for 1 month, make observations. What barriers are you facing that make this difficult? What adjustments can you make? 3 positive aspects of your journey. What habit do you want to cultivate? What action will cue the habit? So this is 1 habit, 2 habits, 3 habits, 4 habits, 5 habits, 6 habits. So you have 6 habits to think about for the year. And then you set up an ideal day and identify, what parts of the day you are the most productive. And that will help kind of identify where the habits are going to fall into your day. Then you have an important page. This is anything you want to write down that you'd want to reference throughout the year. Then we get into, so this whole section, these pages here are not in the Minimalist planner. In the Minimalist, we jump straight to this. So here is our year at a glance. It looks like these fonts are different, but these ones look the same as in the Minimalist we just looked at. So here's our overview. Here's our horizontal view of the year. Then we have our quarterly view. Oh, the one thing I didn't point out with the quarterly view, see how there's that sienna or sepia color on some of these numbers? Those are the beginning of a new week. I believe that's is that a Monday or a Sunday? Hold on. We need to look at a calendar here. Let's look at this guy. So Monday, let's see, the 5th. So the 5th is a Monday. Yeah. So see the different color here? So instead of doing like a shaded box for Saturday and Sunday, all they've done is identify that the new week, the new Monday, is a different color. So it's much more minimalist. It is easy to see when you're looking at it in person. So it's a nice way to like mark the breaks between weeks without it taking up too much like visible or eye attention on the page. So here's our quarterly. Here's our holidays and our open space for whatever we want. And then we have, and this is telling us we're getting into our planning pages. So here is our January overview. It's going to look very similar to the Minimalist. Here is our monthly view. Again, 6 rows, 6 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We have our bullet list down the side. We do have some, oh, you know what? We should look and see. Did I look in the, let's go back to this guy. Did we have, no. So in the B5 Minimalist, we do not have like quotes or like tips up here at the top, but we do have that in this guy, which makes me wonder too. Hold on, let me go back to 2025's planner. 2025's planner does have those as well. So when you're looking at the Minimalist, it truly is minimal. It doesn't have the journaling pages, goal setting pages at the beginning, and it doesn't have these kind of inspo quotes up at the top. Any of your traditional planners that are just their regular ones will have those up at the top. So here is our overview for January, or a monthly calendar. And then, okay, you guys ready? This is where things get really fun. So we have our weekly, okay? Vertical weekly. And this has a little bit more structure than the Minimalist. So on the Minimalist, we just had our bullet list going all the way down. In this planner, we have it split up: a focus section, an intentions section, and a to-do list section. And then we have room down at the bottom for continued listing, or if we want to continue our timeline. This one does have the little hearts. Remember, I referenced that the Minimalist doesn't have hearts. There's a heart right after that you can do, like maybe end of day health or wellness tracking, maybe step count or something like that. We still have a little bit of room up here at the top for any things you want to call out at the top of the day. We have our holiday above the date and our moon phase above the date. So let me go back to this guy again, just to differentiate the Minimalist from the not Minimalist. But here you can see the call out sections here, no call out sections here. We have the heart here, no heart here. So you're going to have all of your weeklies here at the front with the appropriate month. So all of our January weeklies are going to be here. Okay, once we get through our January weeklies, we have dailies. So it is a weekly plus daily. It is not collapsed in that it's monthly, 1 week, and then dailies, and then the next week, and then dailies, and then next week, and dailies, etc. It is split up in larger sections. Your monthly, all of your weeklies, right? All of your weeklies, and then all of your dailies for the month. So the months are together. Like it's just, now I'm going to confuse myself. It's both collapsed and dispersed. So we don't have all of the monthlies, all of the weeklies, all of the dailies grouped together. But we also don't have weekly 7 dailies, weekly 7 dailies. You have your monthly. I'll show this one more time. I know I'm probably butchering this so bad. I've been filming a lot today, so I'm not making a lot of sense here. Let's do this one more time. Monthly, all of your weeklies for the month. These are all of January's weeklies. And then all of January's dailies. So let me just pull this guy out. There we go. So this whole section is your month of January. So January is all together, monthly, weekly, daily, but the dailies are not dispersed amongst the weeklies. Okay. So that is something that is a little bit different. If I'm remembering my flip through of the Sterling Ink weekly daily, I believe theirs are dispersed, interspersed. The dailies are dispersed between the weeklies. I need to do a comparison video with them because they are very different and yet similar. They're going to scratch the itch for someone looking for a weekly daily, but the the way that they do it is very different. So let's take a look at the daily. It is dated, okay? It is a dated daily. So here is, we'll just look at this first one. We have our full date up at the top, upper left corner, and then we have any holidays or moon phases are going to be in the upper right corner. We have a blank focus section, an intention section with the graph grid, and then we have a schedule column, which has basically 4:30 a.m. to, you could go all the way down to 1 a.m. if you want to for your schedule. And then this whole open space here can be for decorating, or they do have boxes here for a checklist. If you wanted this today section to be split even more, you could add another line and have a column for something else. I think this could be a really good way to, if you're like really busy on a specific day, you could separate like your work tasks from your home tasks by just creating another line and have like vertical planning for each day. Down at the bottom, we have the week number that this day falls on and the date, and we see the day within the context of the week. So this day is December 29th. December 29th or 29 is in that sepia color, And we have 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have the numbers for the full week, and then we have the date identified for this day. So again, if we jump over here to Tuesday, December 30th, we've got the 29th through the 4th, but the one that is highlighted in that sepia color is the 30th. So let me pull this guy up so you can see it a little bit better. But here is the top, and then here you can see how they've highlighted the 30th. And then you can also see that the date is spelled out here, and this is within week 1. I love the way that they have marked the day here. I think it looks so nice. So here are all of your dailies for this first month, all together within the month of January, but separate from your weeklies. Be kind in the comment section if you guys are like thinking I was a little too confusing. It is a little confusing, but not when you have the planner in front of you and you're actually planning. I think what I would recommend doing if you go for the weekly daily is you might put tabs down for all of your month here, right? Like January through, because you can put tabs on your monthly layout page all the way down. But then I would probably use a movable bookmark, like one of those little, let me see if I can find one. I mean, here I have this like cute little bookmark that was in Advent box. So I could just have like a little bookmark here for marking my day. Or what I was thinking was the little really flat clips, super duper flat, that are basically no thicker than the page that they just slide on. What I would do is the tab would mark the monthly, and then I would add a little paper clip on the current day, so that, and maybe even the week. So maybe you have 2 bookmarks that can be moved that mark the weekly, and then a bookmark that marks your daily, so that you can easily flip to the right section, since the weekly is separate from a little bit further into the book than the daily. Gosh, I hope I'm making sense here, guys. Okay, let's keep moving. I can't remember. Now I'm thinking maybe I did flip through this. Did we do some pen testing on this? Let me check the other one. But this paper, this 70 GSM, it's very smooth. This is, again, made with the Canadian Mill paper. It is uncoated, smooth, and fountain pen friendly, and they have tested it. I don't have a fountain pen to test it on right now, but I've seen reviews like even over in the Hemlock Oak Facebook page, and the paper performance is fabulous. So I love the way this feels. It is so satisfying, and it's a little bit thicker, right? It's 70 GSM versus the 52 GSM paper, like the Hobonichi paper. It's a little bit thicker, but you still get that same like impact. Like it feels buttery smooth. Quite lovely. Let's go to the back, to the very end, December review. We have our year-end review pages, our looking ahead pages, and then we have graph grid from 566 to 575. So what is that? 9 pages. So you get less pages, but they're already packing so much into this thing. And because you have daily pages, maybe they're presuming you obviously don't need as many notes pages, because that is what the daily pages are for. Now, I think, did I test this one? I did not, which means I think we should pen test the weekly daily. So this is the undated version, and I do want to take some time to compare the undated version from the dated, because I'm curious about how they laid this out. So, and I actually think, just based on my logic with it being undated, I think the weekly daily is going to be better in the undated for a lot of people. It's certainly going to be better for me, because I won't feel like I'm wasting pages if I skip a daily, if I don't need it. So we have all of this still. So in the undated version of the weekly daily, we still have our reflection and goal setting pages. So that's cool. Wait, hold on. Sorry. If you're new here, I don't edit my videos, so you guys are getting like my full experience in real time. I hope you don't mind. Let me go back to the weekly dated version of the weekly plus daily. Did I just say that? Weekly plus daily dated. There is a typo on this one. Somebody pointed this out, and so they did add this to the website so that people know. But so for every month, there is the the monthly overview at the beginning of the month and a monthly review at the end of the month. And for the month of December, maybe mine will be okay, but somebody noted that for December, we have our what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to find, there we go. We have our December overview. Okay. But then instead of December review, it says overview again. Yeah, it says December review. So there is one oopsie with this guy, and that is instead of an overview, you have a review at the end of the month. I don't think that's, it's not the end of the world with that. You can easily cover this up if you want to, but did want to note that out, that there is this one page that's a misprint. It is a review page instead of an overview page. Okay, let me go to the undated version. Actually, now I'm kind of curious if it's true for the undated as well. Maybe not. Ooh, this one doesn't have, oh, that's right, because it's undated. So the undated version I think is rad because you don't feel kind of closed in with the dailies, like if you skip a daily, but it's going to take a little bit more work to set up. So here's the undated version. All this is going to be the same with the beginning journaling pages. You still get the yearly planning horizontal view, but it's not dated. So you're going to be able to date it whenever you want. So you just add your month and then you would just add numbers to it. So you still get your horizontal yearly planning view. You still get your quarterly planning view. So you have a space to write what quarter you're in, and then you can just, write in what month you're at. Obviously, they don't know when you're starting it, so they have not identified what the start of each week is, but you can just use a little dot pen for that. But here's our quarterly view. Then we have our monthly calendars. So this is collapsed. Collapsed meaning all of your overview and review pages are at the front, then all of your monthly pages, then all of your weekly, then all of your daily, I think. Let's confirm this. I think this is going to be great for the folks that like the Hobonichi cousin layout where the dailies are at the back of the planner and they're not within each month. This is going to give that same kind of vibe. So here's your monthly overview. The prompts are going to be exactly the same. Here is your monthly layout. I like this because, as you can guess, it doesn't have moon phases. It doesn't have holidays because it's undated. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. Monday start, 6-week monthlies, and then your to-do list going down the far left side. So you have your monthly calendar, then you have your month in review, and then your monthly overview. Then your next month, monthly review, monthly overview. This is going to repeat for 12 months. So all of your monthly layout and overview and review pages are here. So this would be another situation if you're getting this set up for the new year. Do your, maybe you would do your monthly tabs are going to correspond to your weekly layouts over here. And then maybe up at the top, you do movable bookmarks for monthlies and your daily as you're going through each day. So here is all of our monthly layouts and monthly review and overview pages, all at the front. Then we get into our weekly planning. So we have a beginning page here of just graph grid, and then we have our vertical weekly from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. We do have the heart on here in that sepia color, and we do have the structure that we had in the dated version with the focus, intentions, and to do. And then we've got open space down at the bottom. This just says weekly planning because they don't know when you're starting it. So here is all of your weeklies, okay? 52 weeks of weeklies are all in this next section. So all of your weeklies, 12 months of weeklies are here. Then we get into daily planning. And they're undated dailies, so you have all of your dailies here in the back. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I prefer the undated to the dated. If you are someone that knows that you are a weekly planner and sometimes you need daily planning space, get the undated. Especially if you are going to feel guilty about wasting daily pages that are dispersed with your weeklies every month in the dated version. The other thing you could do is just either be okay with not using every daily page or seeing that as an opportunity to do some creative play, like writing a quote really big or swatching washi, or if a stationery order arrived, like say what you ordered and what you got and what you like the most out of it. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be that serious to use all of your daily pages, but I just know some people occasionally need a daily. They don't always need a daily, and you might feel guilty about skipping daily pages. And the undated version is just better because essentially half of this, more than half of this planner is the daily planning pages. And you could use these for just regular notes. And you don't have to assign specific days to it. Or, you know, if I use this on a Monday and I don't need a daily until a week from Tuesday, I can just pick back up where I left off with the next page. And a week later, use the page right next to the week prior. So I like the flexibility of the undated and having both weekly and daily layouts. So personal preference here, but here you can see like how beautiful the lay flat design is. It will need to be trained per the usual because it is pretty thick, but it is a lay flat design with that binding style. So all of your dailies in the back, and then you have your year-end review. Year-end review pages, and then looking ahead for the new year. And then you have, let's see, 556 to 575 for your notes pages. We're going to do pen testing now in this guy because I haven't done that yet. Oh my gosh, there's something so flexible about the 70 GSM, specifically in the cloth flex, that is incredibly satisfying. And I'm glad that this is the one that's undated because I am definitely going to be trying one of these in 2026, and I think this is the one I'm going to try. I like that it's undated, especially if you're a planner hopper. The ability to go in and out, but also just start on the next page is incredibly satisfying. So we're going to go to the back of the planner, and I'm going to pen test on not the last page, but the one right before it that doesn't have print on it. Ooh, this video is getting long. So I'm just going to grab a bunch of random pens that I have around me. We're going to try all the things. Let me just grab this guy. I used to have a big old stack of pens that I was doing all my pen tests with, but I started putting things away. So let's start with this guy. This is the Unipin 4 Pro version. And this is a 02. So this is a Unipin 2. This smooth, uncoated paper feels really nice to write on. This is an oil-based pen. It will bleed, as I always say, but it'd be kind of awesome if it didn't. This is the Unipin Oil in a 2. Then we have a Zebra, what is this? G750. Zebra G750. Let's try a Blend, Zebra Blend. This one's a bit juicier. Zebra Blend. This is a 0.7. Sharpie S Gel is also very popular. Sharpie S Gel. Let's try a tool pen. Tool. This is a 0.7. It says 0.7. Where is it labeled? Medium. I'm guessing that's a 0.7. We'll just type or write medium. Le Pen. I've been doing a felt tip pen in all of my swatches. This is a Muji 0.38. 0.38. This is a Tombow N89. This is one of my favorite grays. Tombow 189. And then we have the 992. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm silently reflecting on how I tried to explain the weekly daily. I don't think I did a very good job. Of course, I'm doing a post-mortem, as my mom calls it. This is the Sarasa Mark-On in 0.5. Sarasa Mark-On, which is also zebra. Let's do some mild liners. So we have this one in, I want to say it's olive. And then this one, we're going to call it pink. Don't remember what it's called, and it's in Japanese. So we're just going to say pink. And then I want to say this is like cornflower or something. Dark blue. Wrong. Elizabeth is wrong on that. This is dark blue. Let's do a erasable. This is the Friction Way. I want to like erasable pens, guys. I just really struggle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it twice because I want to erase one and see like how the paper stands up to the indent or indentation of erasing. It erases fine on this paper. I have a softer desktop too, so these are all going to probably leave a little bit of a desktop. It's going to leave a little bit of a indentation because it is a bit softer. So there is the Friction Way. Here's an emote, uni emote. Uni emote. I feel like what we really need is, oh wait, here's a Pentel Energel. Pentel Energel. This one is a 0.5. Let me grab my favorite pens that are noticeably absent. Oh, we also need to do some dot pens. So let's do just this pink one. This is the Zig Clean Color Dot. Dot pens fit so beautifully inside their 4.2 millimeter spacing. Truly, like, obviously with dot pens, you can adjust how big the dot is based on the amount of pressure you put on it. But regular pressure, I guess you could say, is a perfect fit in their grid spacing. So that is the Zig, but my favorite pens, where are they? I wonder if they're in the house. Oh wait, here we go. Big fan of the Uniball, the Uni P pens. This is a 0.38. So this is the Uni P, and it uses the Uniball 1 cartridges or refills. So the Uni P in 0.38, which is essentially the Uniball 1. 0.38. I just like this barrel a lot. What's this? Oh, let's do a Clenna. This is a Pentel Energel Clenna in like a brown color. Pentel Energel Clenna. Oh, and just one more for good measure. Let's do the Uniball Signo 207. Uniball Signo 207. We should also stamp, right? Don't we want to see how stamps will perform? Let's do stamps. We'll do the little icons like I did with the other one. So with the Minimalist, we tried the Midnight Black Versa Magic. So we're going to do that. And we did the VersaFine. So we're going to do that. And then lastly, I need my, oh, here he is. Oh, this one's a medium gray. Well, I want to use black. I want to be consistent and show this as true as possible. Where is my Archer and Olive Black? All right, I don't know where my Archer and Olive Black is. We're going to do the gray, but I don't think it's really fair to do the gray because obviously gray is going to be lighter than the black. Let me try a little bit harder here. Hold on. And I was going to do these guys, but I think I want to do a stamp stick because it's more likely that I would use smaller icons, and just for the sake of expediency, I'm going to use the cloth and paper ones because they're here. So let's use these guys, and I'm going to use the thickest one, which is going to be a square. So let's test out the chalk ink. I wonder if this is drying out a little bit. Try to get this really good. So we're going to do that first. Try to clean it off to the best of my ability. So this one was the Versa Magic, and this is the chalk. Okay. Then we're going to try the Versa Fine, which is a pigment ink. I did a review of these and a comparison of like stamp sticks on my channel. Please check that out if you're curious about these. I know someone's been like, where'd you get those? Watch that video, friends. There is the Versa Fine. I have opinions. I have opinions. I have thoughts and opinions. My favorite ones are the mini icons and the stylus from Lael by Mail. And I go into great detail about that. But I will say the fact that I just grabbed this because they're already on here is a testament to the convenience factor of these ones. So I'm going to do a second one of these. Okay. Again, this is gray. It's not black, so it is going to perform a little bit differently. And I don't know if that one's going to bleed. The black on the other one didn't. On the Minimalist didn't, but we'll see. So this is the Versa Fine pigment. And then this is the Legacy ink in medium gray. I highly recommend whatever planner you land on for 2026, dedicate one page for swatches where you can test out all of the things you normally like to use in your planners. Test it in the back of your planner just so you can see that they are compatible, that they work okay. All right, so let's take a look. So here's all of our testing, and now we're going to turn the page. The final truth here. All right, now I fully expected with a 70 GSM to see the oil-based pen bleed a little, and it sure did. But look at the performance on all of the other pens. I would say very minimal ghosting if you are coming from the Hobonichi 52 GSM paper. If you are coming from a Erin Condren paper or a Kelva Plan or Live Love Posh paper, this is a different experience. And those don't ghost at all. The paper is super thick. If you're coming from Archer and Olive, like it's super thick, you're not going to see ghosting. You will in these thinner paper planners. However, the performance of this one is way better, in my opinion, than a Hobonichi. It's one of the reasons why I've avoided, like I'll always start trying like a Tomoe River paper planner, and I don't know, I love the way the paper feels, but the ghosting is a distraction for me and it's hard for me to get over. This is such a nice, healthy medium. You get the whole year, but it's not too thick. You get the feel of a buttery, smooth paper, but you don't get as bad a ghosting as you do with the Tomoe River paper. So I think the performance on this is really nice. Let's take a look at the inks. The Legacy ink is bleeding a little bit. Your chalk ink, just like with the Minimalist, the chalk inks, the Versa Magic chalk inks are going to perform the best. Because even the Versa Fine wants to bleed a little bit. But you can, I think, stamp with the Versa Magic chalk inks. So there is my pen test. Make sure that gets focused back in. You can see, even from further away, when you pull things up, obviously you're going to see it, but just me looking at this planner in front of me, this is doable for me. Like this level of ghosting would not bother me at all. And you can only see it if you're really kind of pushing the page down. So I think the performance on this new paper is excellent. Now I didn't test a fountain pen because I don't have one right now that's got ink in it, but you can see fountain pen performance content from Hemlock and Oak, and I'm sure in the Hemlock and Oak YouTube channel. The other thing I wanted to test actually was my favorite correction tape. This I got from Simple Paper Co. It's the oval correction tape, and it's a retractable correction tape. I have this in every color, like barrel color, and I keep it in my planner tote. It is a white correction tape, and this is a warm white. So I do want to test my correction tape to see what the color is going to look like. It's not going to be a great match. Let me test this over. This is not a reason to not choose this planner, but y'all know I like to be thorough, and I want to make sure we've tried all the things. Let me go back here and test my favorite correction tape in this guy. Much, much better. So any correction tape you use, unless you find a warmer correction tape, is going to stand out a little bit more on the weekly+daily because those pages are a warm white. Smearing wise, I didn't test that right away. Let's just do that really fast. I definitely didn't hesitate. We have a little bit of smearing. Let me give it a chance to actually, this is my favorite. So this is the 0.38 Uni 1. Fabulous. Let me give this guy another try, and we'll count this time. So this is the Sarasa mark-on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty good. Let's try this one again. This is the Uniball 1P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For smooth paper, that dry time is fabulous. These are excellent pens anyways for this kind of thing. Let's try emoji with dry time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Let's see. These juicier ones, blend. This is the blend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holy moly! No way. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Wow. Hold on. Sharpie S gel. Sharpie S gel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, Sharpie S gel is going to need a little bit more of a dry time. Let's try this again. That was 5. Sharpie S gel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A little bit better. I would probably wait 20 seconds with the Sharpie S Gel, but if you are using a blend, if you're using a Muji, if you're using the Zebra Sarasas or the Uni 1 pens, you got pretty good dry time. Hold on, let's try the Clenna. No, this is the Energel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y'all, this paper! Stop it. Let me show that to you. Wait, focus. Come on. Look at that. 0 smudging or smearing at the 5-second mark for the blend, the Uni 1P, the Sarasa Mark-On, and even the Energel Clenna. No, excuse me, Energel, Pentel Energel. Wow. Amazing. Why are we not focusing? Well, I feel like I've done just about everything I can. We've tested stamps. We've looked at the layouts. My overall, normally I try not to give like too much personal opinions on here because I know we all plan it differently and we all are looking for something different for the new year. But I am going to go ahead and say that of the whole Hemlock and Oak lineup, now I've been in the horizontal and the horizontal layout is lovely. It's just not for the season of life that I am currently in for like a catch-all everyday planner. But this is what the horizontal looks like. And I'm sure there weren't really any changes for 2026. This is the 2025 version, but you have your Monday through Sunday on this side. And then you have an open space on this side. Maximum list making, brain dumping space here, which is so, so nice. But when we look at the whole lineup for 2026, I gotta say a vertical or horizontal is totally up to personal preference. But if I'm going with a minimalist, I'm going with the Paper Flex so I can decorate it with stickers. And if I'm going to pick a weekly daily combined in the 70 GSM, I'm going with the Undated Cloth Flex just because of the way it feels in the hand and having all of the dailies at the back of the planner so I don't feel guilty about skipping pages if I'm not using a daily. My other thought, again, on the other side is I'm thinking about this in light of actual planning. And I do think that if you're someone that does planner and journaling together, the weekly plus daily dated is a good option if you're looking for accountability to journal every day because you have a space for it in your planner marked out for every day. And so if you're looking for accountability to journal every day, then I would use the weekly plus daily dated as a journal, maybe less as a planner. So, or both, basically, as a planner and a journal. All right, so where I'm landing for my 2026 lineup, I still have one last brand to review, Aura Estelle, the magnet planners. But where I've landed is I am going to have these in my planner stack, and I'm just going to bip and bob in and out of them over the course of the year. I love that for the undated version of this guy. And this, I believe, is going to be my primary hourly time blocking vertical planner for 2026. I have some other planners in my lineup, but this one I think is going to be the most fun for me to decorate and play in. And it's got the most real estate for my brain dumping. So this one is probably going to get used every day. And then this one is going to be used kind of sporadically. And that's why I like the undated version. All right, friends. Oh my gosh. If you have stuck all the way in with me, can you leave me a comment with a heart emoji or something? I know that this was a long one, but So many of you have been waiting for my take on these, and I hope that I delivered. I hope it was good. I will do, I think, one more video where I am comparing this one with the Sterling Ink Weekly Plus Daily. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them down below. If you decide to pick up anything from Hemlock and Oak, remember I am an affiliate and my discount code is joyful10. That'll save you 10% off of your purchase. And just across the board, let me just say, I've been communicating with Hemlock and Oak for a couple of years now, and they're one of the best small shops that I have interacted with when it just comes to like email correspondence and just the loveliness of their team. I think they're like a team of 3 or 4 people, and they're just good people. So that is something that I take into consideration when I'm actually purchasing my planners as well. Like, you know, do I like what the company stands for? Do I like the interactions that I have with them as both a consumer and as someone who shares planners on the internet? And Hemlock and Oak is just one of those companies that I don't have any questions about, and I enjoy supporting them. I put my money where my mouth is with them. I purchase from them just because I think they're so awesome. So I fully endorse Hemlock and Oak as a brand for sure. And they are growing their collection from the material types that they're picking to the layouts that they're offering and the free PDFs on the website. Oh, and I forgot to say this. If you are a disc-bound user, they sell disc-bound inserts. So if you like this vertical layout, if you like that other horizontal layout, if you want to try the goal setting pages and you're a disc-bound user, they sell them as disc-bound inserts. So if you want to use inserts, you can do that. And just across the board, because of all of these different options that they have, I just feel like they're a really great company to try. All right, friends, questions down below, affiliate link and discount code in the description box. If I need to make any editor's notes, I will leave that down in the description box as well. Come hang out with me on Instagram. My handle is The Joyful Sojourn. And if you want to hang out with me again and you want to see my starting 2026 planner lineup, then make sure you're subscribed to my channel. All right. Until next time, friends, God bless you. God bless you and keep you. Do something creative today. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.